Hey there, everybody. I am providing you with a document that has some helpful formulas on it. And pretty much 90% of the formulas on it deal strictly with nutrition. So I wanted to do or upload this into the weekly module where we have our nutrition chapter. So the first page of your helpful formulas, you can see here, talks about desired body weight. So DBW, desired body weight. So you can see the formula actually for desired body weight is lean body weight, which is LBW, divided by 1 minus the desired body fat percentage. So really, if you look at the example of, and I'm going to actually make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so if you have a 200-pound individual who has 30% body fat, how much will they weigh at 25% body fat? So using that formula, you would take 100%, okay, and you would subtract 30% from it. So that's telling us that that person has 70% of lean body fat, or lean body weight, I'm sorry. So 30% of their body weight is fat, okay, and then 70% of their body is lean body weight. So now again, going back to their weight, they weigh 200 pounds. So you're going to multiply that by how much lean body weight they have. So that's 70%. So you would do a 0.70. So 200 pounds times 70% of lean body weight would say that they have 140 pounds of lean body weight. That's how many pounds they have of lean body weight. Okay, so now we wanted to know what would they weigh at 25% body fat. That same person, if they decrease their body fat to from 30 to 25%, what would they weigh? So again, we take 100 minus 25%. So now we're saying that they have 75% of their body weight being lean body weight. So we know that 140 pounds is in lean body weight. So 140 pounds of lean body weight divided by the amount of percentage of lean body weight that they have, which is 0.75. So that would tell us that they should weigh 187 pounds if they wanted to have, if they reduced it to 25% body fat. So using that formula, lean body weight divided by 1 minus the desired body fat percent. So that's just your example on how to calculate a person's desired body weight. The next formula here is the waist to hip ratio. So real simple. Basically, waist measurement divided by your hip measurement will give you that waist to hip ratio. So for example, if somebody had a 36-inch waist and a 35-inch hip circumference, so 36 inches divided by 35 would be a 1.03. And there are tables that we can use to determine, is that healthy, is it unhealthy, as far as waist to hip ratio. BMI, the metric formula for body mass index is actually your body weight in kilograms divided by your height in meters squared. So that is your metric formula. So you can see the example of a person being 196 pounds and 5'8". Using that formula, they calculated them to have a 30 for a BMI. So remember, anything over 30 is considered obese. The standard formula we seem to see being used a lot more often. It's a little easier to do the calculations because you're not having to, square things and do some extra math. So the standard formula is just simply taking their body weight in pounds and multiplying it by 703. Notice that's within parentheses, divided by their height in inches. And once you get that answer, you simply divide that answer by their height in inches again. So you can see the example here of a 5'8" individual that's 196 pounds. When they went through the math to do that, they got the same 30. Okay, so the metric formula and the standard formula are going to come with the same outcome, but just note that the standard formula tends to be a little easier for people to do math-wise than the metric formula is. The second page, now this last one, predict 1RM, that's just a formula that they put on here because this is helpful formulas for not only group fitness instructor taking this exam, but also for personal trainers. So as a personal trainer, you're going to have to know how to do that. But as group fitness instructor, this is not anything that we cover in our particular class. You can see the second page of formulas here at the very top again is another one, the Carbonin formula. Now that was back on monitoring intensities. So just as a review, that Carbonin formula is just at the top for you guys to look at. But then more nutrition stuff here at the bottom. So calculating calories per gram. So remember, fat contains 9, carb and protein both contain 4, and alcohol is one other thing that we consume that contains calories, and that would be 7 calories per gram. The next portion is how to calculate percentage of total calories coming from carb, protein, or fat, which I talked a little bit about in the nutrition PowerPoint presentation. But first things first, you have to change grams into calories by multiplying by either 4, or 9, and that changes grams into calories. And then you simply take that calorie number and divide it by the total calories that was in either that food item or the meal, or if you're doing it for a whole day, you would divide by the total calories for the day. And the last formula here is daily caloric deficit needed to achieve desired weight loss in a set time frame. So if you had a person who wanted to lose weight, how much, of a caloric deficit do they need to have? So just remember, 1 pound of fat is equal to 3,500 calories. So they have to burn off 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound. So step 1 would be to list their weight loss. What's their desired weight loss in pounds? Okay, whatever that number may be. Multiply that by 3,500 calories. Okay, and then you divide that by the number of weeks that you are going to give them to lose this weight. So then you simply take in step 2 that weekly caloric deficit, that answer from step 1, and then you divide it by 7 days in the week, and that would tell you how many, what their caloric deficit per day would be. So you can see the example below, somebody wanting to lose 15 pounds in the 20-week period, using that formula given, you can see the daily caloric deficit is 375. So they have to decrease their caloric intake by 375 calories per day if they want to lose that 15 pounds in that 20-week period. So these are just some helpful formulas come test time, because there may be some questions on that national exam and the mock exam that require you to do a little bit of math. So knowing these formulas will be very, very helpful. The other thing that I wanted to just touch on regarding nutrition is that glycemic index. When we're talking about carbohydrates, knowing that glycemic index is always helpful, because it is that measure of how quickly a food can make your blood sugar levels rise. So only foods that contain carbohydrates have this glycemic index. So foods that are just oils, fats, meats, they're not ranked on that glycemic index. So in general, foods that are on the low glycemic index range tend to increase your blood sugar levels a lot more slowly. So than foods that are on the high glycemic index chart. So obviously a better choice, especially for those people who are diabetic, to choose foods that are on the low end of the glycemic index. And just so you know, the glycemic index ranges from 0 to 100. So the low GI foods would be the 0 to 55 range. And again, those will elevate blood sugar levels at a very slow rate. Then you have your moderate glycemic index foods, which are your 56 to 69. And then your high glycemic index foods, which are ranked as a 70 or higher up to 100, that will quickly elevate your blood sugar levels. So again, choosing foods that are more at the low glycemic index are better for our glucose levels in our bloodstream, But note, not every single food that's considered a low glycemic index rated food is not necessarily healthy. So just be aware of there are foods out there that are rated as a low glycemic index, but they maybe don't have any vitamins or any minerals in them, for example, and thus are just not a very healthy food choice, even though they might be rated as a low glycemic index type of carbohydrate. So I just wanted you to be aware of that glycemic index and how it does impact our blood sugar levels. It only deals with foods that are carbohydrates, that have carbohydrates in them. And again, choosing in general the lower glycemic index ranked foods are going to be better for us as far as slowly and not very quickly elevate our blood sugar levels.